Hello. In this session, we'll clearly discuss what exactly is virtual machine, and then I will also teach you how exactly to install virtual machine in your system. It is going to be very important, and please understand this completely. And if you are not able to understand, you can listen to it once more, or you can type your queries in the chat. I'll be able to answer them and I will clarify your questions. This is a very important topic, so please remember and listen to it carefully. What is virtual machine? That's the first question that we need to answer. The term virtual itself is very interesting. Something may appear to be available, but it may not be really present. It is there, but it is not there. That's what we call as virtual. And virtual machine is no different. It is there, but it is actually not there. Virtual machine is efficient, isolated, and it is a duplication or cloning of a real machine. I can exactly get cloned copy of a real machine, and that's what virtual machine is all about. But most important point is this can be done without spending so much of investment there, without spending so much of effort there. All this can be done with ease. It is easy, frugal, and it is manageable as well. Virtual machine is a software artifact. Remember, it is a software setup fundamentally which is going to help you in duplicating, in getting clone of another operating system. It is actually going to run on the physical hardware. I mean, you are going to run the virtual machine on the hardware which is nothing but your PC. It will still utilize the resources that you all have in the PC, but it is going to get you the cloned version of the operating systems. You can get the virtual feeling as such. You are having one Linux machine with you, one Ubuntu machine with you, one Unix machine with you, one Windows machine with you, all in one machine. We can get that feel. That feel of you having many in one is given through the VM, and VM is a software artifact. Now remember it, how exactly it looks like. You can see that here. This is the hardware. This is your practical hardware, whatever you have. I mean, your laptop or desktop or whatever. This include your this they essentially include your the processor, the RAM, whatever you have in your laptop, all those will come in into this category, and we include all those. Now over and above that, we have the virtual machine. We have the virtual machine software available with us. We are going to have the software, like there are multiple virtual machine software available with us. We are going to install that. It can be from any organization, it can be from any maker, but essentially the purpose of it remains the same. It will help you in creating copies of the operating system, in creating virtually the machines available for you to access. Now when you do that, what we get is multiple machines like that over and above, where you have the feel of having simulator hardware, operating system of your choice, and app specific for that operating system. What do I mean by that? This can be for Windows. Now I have got one hardware available with me. This is the only hardware available with me, but now this VM will get you a complete feel as such. You have got the hardware specifically available for Windows, and over and above that you have installed the Windows operating system, and you can install all the Windows app. Now I install Ubuntu. Now it will appear like you have got hardware specifically made available for Ubuntu, and you have installed Ubuntu operating system, and the applications which are specific for Ubuntu will all be made available here. That's it. So what do? We create a virtual infrastructure for you. We create a virtual feeling for you that you are working on that real hardware. You are made available with real hardware. But essentially, it is not the case. We are simulating. We have only one hardware base available with us, but we can install multiple operating system virtually over and above it. And each of the operating system will be given a feel that they own the hardware. And you will get the comfort of working in multiple hardware. That's very, very important. Now, we need to go with certain more definitions. Yes, definitions are always important, and virtualization is one such word. Virtualization deals with extending or replacing an existing interface so as to mimic the behavior of another system. That's it. I made it very clear. Now, understand, virtual machine is all about getting the mimicking. You are going to mimic the behavior. That's it. I'm going to mimic the behavior of another system. It's called virtualization. Virtual machine adds software to a physical machine to give it the appearance of a different platform or multiple platforms. What do you mean by that, sir? Very simple. I have got a Windows 10 PC with me. I have installed a VM over it. Now what do? Very simple. I can add Ubuntu to it. I can add Linux, some other version to it, I can get anything more to it. I can have 3 operating systems over and above Windows. Windows is now the base. I have got the virtual machine as an application, and this application enable me to install and run multiple other operating systems, and they all are different platforms also for me. So that's it. That's a very important point that you need to understand. There are two categories of virtual machines. One is system virtual machine, another one is process virtual machine. Remember, there are two categories of virtual machine. One is system virtual machine and the next one is the process virtual machine. What is system virtual machine? It will virtualize the hardware resources. I am going to get the virtualization done for the hardware. What are the hardware that you know immediately? The CPU, all the IO devices, the memory, networking, and GUI, whatever you use, even they all are going to be virtualized so that you get access to all of them. I need access to all of them so that I get virtualized it through the system virtual machine. The virtualizing software used is called as VMM. Remember it, this is called VMM. It is also called hypervisor, and you will learn this term more in future. Whenever you are going to higher levels, you will definitely use this term hypervisor a little more. Virtual machine monitor or hypervisor is the software that we are using for this purpose. Now, process virtual machine. What is it? This is nothing but we are going to run processes, right? All the files that we execute become process. There could be multiple processes which are running in the machine. So remember that we are going to run process. Now, what are we going to do? A virtual platform which will execute unrelated processes is all done by the process virtual machine. The process virtual machine enables you to run all the unrelated process. What do you mean by that, sir? A simple example I will give you. I have got system calls specific to Linux. For example, I have taught you the create system call. There are system calls like fork. There are system calls like getPID. All those things available which are very specific to Linux. But when I install the virtual machine and when I install Ubuntu over it, I can run that operating system specific calls for Ubuntu over Windows actually. I have Windows operating system as the base. This is installed as an application and VM is an application right there, and over that I have installed Ubuntu. So what do? We are running a system call specific for Ubuntu on a Windows platform indirectly. So that's exactly what we mean as unrelated process being executed in the same machine using VM. VM enables you to test everything possible. I have a Windows machine. I want to test something in Linux. I can have a virtual machine without having you needed to boot it separately or to restart even if you have dual boot. This is going to help us out easily. Now, we've got some constraints that we need to know. Whenever we get anything new, there are some constraints always related to it. What are all the constraints that we have? Now, please remember hardware design. First constraint is hardware design. Software written for hardware will be the normal statement that we all read. Whenever you have a software made, it will be made specific to a hardware. Windows operating system software will not work with Linux. I have been repeatedly telling you that. The software that you need to download should be specific for that operating system. For example, you are trying to download a game, it is available for Ubuntu, it is available for Windows, it is available for Android. What do you mean by that? I need to have the specific software written for specific hardware, specific software written for specific operating system. There is a specificity which is connected to which operating system you are using, which hardware you are using. Please remember that. And particularly when it comes to hardware, Mac OS 10, Mac operating system only can be installed in Mac. We have some workaround to install Windows in that, and I have seen that. But see that the hardware is having a lot of value over there, and specificity to the hardware cannot be ignored. That is one constraint that we normally have. I have specificity which is connected to hardware. I have specificity that is connected to operating system. You cannot generally install any application that you want which is belonging to any other operating system into your OS directly. Now, each system is crafted with its own instruction set. What do you mean by that, sir? I'll tell you this way. I have got a processor called Intel i7 processor, Core i7 processor. It will have set of instruction set available with it. What do you mean by that, sir? When I compile, when I do work, it is all done by processor, and processor will call corresponding instructions for it to run. Every processor comes with a package of instruction set. I'll have 100 instructions, and those instructions will be written as programs, and that's what we are using in the external side. We do not know, we do not go deeper into it right now, but when we study a paper called as computer architecture, when we study a paper called as embedded system, you will be taught how to use instruction set for a particular processor. For an instance, Intel has got its own instruction set for all the variants. AMD has got its own instruction set for all the variants. Now, when you write the code, you need to consider that, see, I have got separate instruction set available for a processor called 8085. I have got separate instruction set available for a processor called 8086. So you need to use them appropriately to build your functionalities. This is the second constraint. The first constraint that we have is hardware related. I also pulled in the operating system perspective of it. The second constraint is the instruction set. Each hardware, each processor has got its own instruction set. Intel 8085 has got instructions like add. Intel 8086 may have something else slightly different from that. Intel, maybe I use Core i7 processor, it will have some other instruction which could add more number of operands to it. So each processor has got its own specific instruction set which you need to use for building functionalities. I'm sorry. Eventually, you need to understand one thing. They are becoming more standardized, but still we have a lot of deviations. So these three are the general constraints that one would have to think about when they think of the multiple platforms coming together. You cannot generally do it because of all these constraints, but virtual machine is getting us out of all these constraints without having any trouble. You need not worry about which instruction set you are using. You need not worry about which platform you are using, because you will feel like you are going to have separate operating system available, separate entity available, but it is virtual. So all these constraints are wiped off completely with the help of the virtual machine. Remember it. Why do we need virtual machine? First, we can eliminate the real machine constraint. I need not buy hardware. I need not buy 5 machines if I have to use 5 operating systems parallelly. I can eliminate the need for the hardware. In the 1960s, virtual machines is used to use the multiplexing mainframe. I have a mainframe computers and I had to really multiplex it, which means that I cannot go ahead and buy a lot of mainframe computers by then. It's all very expensive, so they have tried it there. 1980s and 90s, when you see, VM study became cold, which means the multitasking OS, multitasking operating systems have come into picture by early 90s, and multiple operating systems have been successful by then. The hardware cost also started reducing down. So people still believe that I can go with some more machines, some more hardware with me instead of me installing VM. Yes, that's a topic that is discussed and debated about also. In 2000s, the VMs started booming up again because of the security, resource utilization, and reliability that is added and included in the VM features. So the VM keeps evolving. Virtual machine software which people are buying, which people are selling, they keep evolving, and they now ensure security, resource utilization in a better way, and reliability. So the point is very simple. We have increased portability, we have increased flexibility, and we eliminate the need for real hardware. Though it started booming up well, it came down a little bit in between. Now it is going high with all the features that are required being properly included. The first summary, first benefit that we have when we summarize is cross-platform compatibility. What do you mean by that, sir? I write a code, I want to test it in multiple platforms parallelly. So I have a VM, I have got Windows, Mac OS 10, I have got Linux, I have got, for example, Solaris, I have got any other operating system that you know as VM. Now, what I can do is I can easily copy paste this code in each of that, make minor changes as per the requirement for the hardware and the software, and I can run it. It is like you having 5 operating systems in the same machine. Now, it will be very secured for you. Why, sir? I need not copy paste the code. I need not take the code as a backup and insert it in the pen drive in some other machine. I need not send it over the network. I still have it on the same machine. So it is definitely safe. Enhanced performance. Definitely better performance can be seen because it's going to be fast. If you have better hardware, if you are having more RAM space available with you, I mean more RAM capacity available with you, the performance is going to increase. If you have a better processor, I'm promising you it's going to be a cool option. Simplify software migration. I will show you a demo on how do you migrate. I have created one operate. I have created a. I have made one setup. I have made a test bed. I have installed something. I made a setup. I want to migrate it 5 times. I can copy 5 operating systems, which are very easy to be done, and I can do that with VM. I created a setup. I want to create copies of it, clones of it. In seconds, we can do that with VM, and it's very easy. And I'm going to show you how exactly we can do that also. Overall, if you see, it is all a nice option to really install and use VM when you want cross-platform compatibility. When you want cheaper investment, we do not invest much here. Only the VM software will be costing you something, and we can still enjoy the full privilege of having an operating system. Right. What are the characteristics of VM? I mean, the attributes. We need to understand attributes. First, identical. Any program run under the VMM shows the same effect as running on the original machine. There is no change. You can use this clone, you can use this software, you can use this operating system, which is virtual, though will give you a nicest performance like how exactly it is working in the real machine. Efficient. There is no significant decrease in the speed or performance, though it is VM. There could be some variance here and there, but still this is okay to go. VM has got complete control of resources, and so we do not have to bother about it. So these three are essentially to be appreciable, and these are making VM really stand out. And this is the traditional machine that you have. The traditional machine has got a CPU, has got memory, has got network interface card, disk, and some processor, maybe whatever some architecture, x86 architecture, whatever architecture you know will be there. There could be an operating system like Windows or Mac or anything, and you have an application over it. Now, what is virtual machine? Very simple. I have got the same set of hardware. I added a VMM. The virtualization layer is available over there. Now, all these are like a copy is made, and you can see that the multiplexed options are available here. And this is all available for this operating system, XYZ. How many ever operating systems you need, all those are available. Now, see that it is very simple to use. Essentially, it is going to help us out in multiplexing. Yes, the bugs, viruses won't be there because your system is safe and you need not go to another system. As I told you, performance is also very good. Now please understand, we are going to understand one very important point. The entire virtual machine is a file. You can see that here I have installed VM for Ubuntu 64-bit, Windows 7. All these are my virtual machines in my system. Now what do we do here? Very simple. If I want to copy this, I need to just copy. If I want to copy this operating system and the content in it, I need to just copy this folder, this folder, this folder. That's all. Everything is simple file. It is going to be a simple file that you are going to copy out finally end of the day. If you want to make a copy of it, right click, create a copy. You'll get the same configuration available with you. So this is going to be easy for you to handle, easy for you to manage, easy for you to clone, and most importantly, you install once, create 5 copies if you need to do so. So you need not waste time. You really do not waste time. In OS, everything is a file, and VM is finally a file as well. We are going to get everything as a file out here, and we are going to get the complete copy of an existing operating system created in seconds, and we can share this VM also with other people. If I copy it in a pen drive and give the VM to somebody, they can also use it. So it is very easy. It is very compatible with all the operating systems. A virtual machine will not say that I cannot accept a new operating system into my baggage. So you can run Windows XP or Windows 8. That's possible. I can run DOS with XP, two different operating systems altogether. I can run Ubuntu alongside XP. Whatever you want, I'm just giving a random example. So create one time, run multiple times. It is hardware independent. It can even help you in running the legacy operating system if you want to test your features with the legacy operating system. So all these are really cool, and this is very, very important. Where do we have the applications? Test and development, business continuity, enterprise desktop. This is too high for you right now to go ahead in much detail with, but I can talk about these two quickly for you. Test and development, very simple. I develop a software. I want to test it in multiple operating systems in multiple configuration. Instead of you buying and spending a lot of money and setting the system up, you can have VMs and it's going to be easy for you. I can test and I can make sure it's working fine for all the available operating systems. Business continuity, you are reducing the cost totally. When you go with VM, you avoid the cost of the hardware and you are avoiding the cost for maintenance as well. So this is a really easy for you to go ahead. So the applications are really plenty, and the most important point that all of us really appreciate about VM is we do not have to worry about investments on maintenance, networking, floor space, cooling, power, disaster recovery. Too much work, too much facilities for really very little that we spend. So this is all very good for us to go ahead with VM, and you need not spend a lot of money on all this. When you go with non-virtualized data centers, that becomes a problem. When you go with virtualized stuff, it is always easy. I've given you the fundamentals of what exactly is VM, how do we do it, and I've explained you that quite clearly in this session, I believe. Now we need to install VM, and I'm going to explain you that process as well in a detailed manner, and you follow that up and you can understand things very clearly, and I hope this is clear. VM is going to help you in getting the setup of multiple operating system, multiple machines in the same machine. That's it. That's how we can conclude it. It's very easy for you to use. It's very inexpensive for you to use. All those are going to be real time. It's going to be really fast. It's going to give you performance as you could get in any other original machine. It's also dynamic. You can, whenever you want, you can make a backup. Whenever you want, you can clone, you can copy, you can make modifications. Migration is easy. All those are easy when it comes to VM. That's it. We have had a quick view of what is VM, and I hope you understood it. In case you have questions, you can post it in the chat. I'll be able to answer them. We are going to come up with a demo for the same, and you will definitely be able to understand, and it's very easy to install. The only thing that you need to do is you need to download the appropriate software. You need to have the images of Windows or Ubuntu or whatever operating system you want to install, and with that we can go ahead. I'll show you how exactly to install Ubuntu as a VM over Windows, and that will be done shortly.